emotional indulgence, you have to think about what is the long-term effect of it.
Hello everyone, my name is Sara and I am a co-active life coach as well as the host for MindPod. This is a place where I will be inviting interesting human beings to explore an idea. There is no right, no wrong, just browsing. So let's see what we can stir up. Our guest today is Nada El Khatib, who is a lifestyle explorer. She has a YouTube and an Instagram channel where she tries different activities and experiences and shares them with her Insta family. She is very active, social, and a good company to have. So let's invite her in. Hi, Nada.
Hi, Sara.
How are you?
I'm feeling okay. How are you?
I'm good.
Congratulations on all of this. Seems exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, and thank you for joining today.
Thank you for having me. I'm ready for your questions, girl.
Awesome. So, one of the reasons I got Nada here today is because she is one of the people that always is trying new things to discover herself and improve things and, finding different ways to make things better. So I'm always amazed with her level of energy and her motivation and, how she continues to encourage herself. So I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on what are the things that you think is self-care and what makes it important.
Self-care is a word that, or like, let's say a statement that's very broad, so a lot of people take that in different ways. But for me, it's like a practice of taking action for your well-being, for your mind, health, body, and soul. And what I mean by practice, it's a constant practice. It's not a one-time thing. You can't be really good at it because we're really not taught to self-care too much. It's just you realize that as you grow older that you need few things for yourself, for the inside more than the outside. And it's like a practice of taking an active role and of being happy. That's what I believe, what self-care is and what it really means to me.
Yeah. And what's important about that?
It's really important to self-care, to have that practice and keep on doing that because you don't want to run low and self-destruct. It's like self-care, it gives you an indication of when you need resources for yourself to be happier, to be sane, to balance things out in your life, especially with your mind. But I like balancing, I try to balance it out, and that's why you always find a new episode with me every week whenever we catch up, is that I'm going to the gym every day. For me, that's self-care. I'm reading a book about, the secret of manifesting things. That's also self-care. I need my alone time. I can't, Sara. That's self-care. So there's just different types of self-care that creates a balance for you to be happy. And for me, it's really important just because I never really took that into consideration or found it really important. It's like being kind to yourself like you would with others that you love. I would like to give an example because whoever knows me knows that before they come over, I try my best to be hospitable. My house is always clean. I have something to give. I make sure that the coffee is being ready. I'm treating you with so much kindness and respect. And I feel like to define self-care for yourself is doing that for you. So you look good for you. You're doing the best for you. You're preparing an amazing meal for you. You're organizing it in a beautiful plate for you. It's really loving yourself enough how you'd love your spouse, your friend. You're treating yourself with that kindness.
And in your opinion, how many people take the time to take care of themselves?
Man, that's also a broad question. For me, it took me till I was 26 to realize what even self-care was. I thought self-care was just going doing your nails or shopping or I love myself, I'm self-caring. I think a lot of people confuses that.
So that's like treating yourself rather than taking care of yourself.
That's like hashtag treat yourself, you know what I mean? But no, I don't think that. I feel like that's the outer bit, but people forget about self-caring inside, checking in with your mind, checking in with your body, feeling what aches, feeling if you're sad and you don't know why, and you're just saying, I'm having a down day, ask yourself why. Why am I having a down day? Connect with yourself. Treat yourself as if, you have a person right in front of you. People think I'm crazy half the time. I don't know if Jack will hear this. He's one of my colleagues at work. I would go inside the staircase, like I'd just enter the staircase if I'm having a moment, and I would have a pep talk, like Nada, how are you feeling? Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Just gotta do it today. Just go in. I'm prepping myself. He was sitting in the stairs below the level, and he came up. He's like, "Are you talking to yourself? Like you're crazy." And I'm like, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
But checking in is really, really important, and a lot of people don't do that. They ignore or they don't realize what they're feeling. They just numb it out.
I feel like sometimes people don't want to check in because they're going to feel something that they don't want to feel, or they would have thoughts that they don't want to have.
Oh my God. You took me back when I first started the self-care trip. I know it's the hardest thing. I hated checking in. I didn't want to know how I felt, because once you realize how you feel, the voice gets louder.
Yeah.
And once that happens, you can't ignore it, and you have to take an action. So I'd rather not think. Like ignorance is bliss, you know what I mean? I didn't want to think. I didn't want to know why I'm feeling a certain way. But then you realize you're losing yourself, and then that decision of not listening the first time, it's like a domino effect. Everything around you becomes that. So it's like one by one, you got to take it into consideration of when things happen. You got to, put that adult cap on and, sit down with yourself and take that action and sit down and just check in. Because if you don't, it just gets louder, and you don't want that.
So what's an adult cap?
For me, an adult cap is obviously, aside from like paying your bills and being an adult and, paying for your car and going to work, you don't want to lose yourself adulting, like, because it does drive you crazy. So I feel like part of being an adult is to check in. Being an adult but again, not a lot of people know that, right? It's under self-care, but not a lot of people think that it's important to wear that cap and be responsible for yourself. You're responsible for your job. You're responsible for paying this. You're responsible for doing a lot of things, but you forget to be responsible for yourself. I would like to say to consider yourself as a second party. Like the inside job, consider it as a responsibility, as if it's work, because it really is. Like to check in and to break down and to pick yourself up again. And we do that without us realizing it, but it comes after a long time of suffering, internal suffering. So why should you reach to that point when you can start, having a little bit of sufferings, but dealing with that and understanding what it is, and, journal and, put pros and cons of everything that you do, every decision that you make. Those are things of checking in. It's not like, hey, are you okay? I'm going to do this decision. Is it right? So we're not being impulsive. We're sitting down, checking in. How do you feel about that? Okay, let's write the positives and the negatives. So we're taking decisions without being irrational, without being impulsive, and that results to self-care in a way, just because you're doing it with your mind. You're acknowledging the importance for such decisions,
Right. I really like what you said about, how you should check in more often and not delay a lot of things, because it's going to come back eventually.
For sure.
And it's so much easier when you deal with it as it comes.
Right.
And if I were to kind of put an image to that, when you think of a tap and when something gets stuck in the sink, right? When you clean it on a regular basis, there's always clean water coming out. There's no dirt,
It doesn't flood.
It doesn't flood.
Yeah.
But then you keep that for months and months, maybe years. And it's going to become very dirty. And like you said, it's going to flood.
Yeah.
And it will also take a longer time to clean that, right?
For sure.
Yeah. So that's an image that came to me when you said we should do that on a regular basis.
For sure. And I know it sounds crazy. Like I'm not going to say do it every single day, or, but when you have a minute, when you're driving to work, When you're putting your food in the microwave, like even those little minutes, like just take a minute, like, how are you? How you doing, babe? When you're putting your makeup in the mirror, when you're pouring yourself that coffee, just take a minute and breathe in and see how you're feeling that day. I feel like those little things is like a maintaining, it's like you're maintaining, the check-in and the self-care. Now, don't get me wrong, I do believe in self-care outwards. Like, you do need to take care of your physical. If you're comfortable with your skin, great, you know what I mean. But if you feel like I'm not happy with the way I look, then change that. Whatever it may be. If you're happy with your look, great. But are you healthy? Figure that out. You know what? I want to go do my nails. I want to look extra pretty. And when I say extra pretty, I'm already pretty. And like you make sure that you have those. What do they call it?
Words of encouragement.
Words of encouragements, affirmations. I always throw them out there. Like, and that's also a way of self care. Like, you're telling yourself what you want to believe. A lot. My sister now, I live with her, all the time she would walk in out of my room in the morning, and I would put this guy Samuel Jackson on YouTube, and because he has like encouragement words, do not accept this for yourself, and it's like, yeah, amen,
Yeah.
and I get like so excited in the morning. But that's for me is like a pep talk when I can't talk to myself. So you find different ways to help encourage yourself within yourself, like your self-worth, and that also reflects to self-care. You start feeling better about yourself. When you go to the gym, it releases some hormones in your body that you're happier, your mood is better, your energy is better. When you take care of yourself, putting a color on your nail that seems pretty, you feel more confident, you dress better, more confident, like and that's also self-care externally,
right?
Aside from just checking in internally. I feel like it's so important for you to look and feel your best as well. But for me on Saturdays, and since it's a Saturday, I usually don't wear makeup. I take my authentic self out. I wear a mask, which I kind of got. It's Saturday, guys, so we're gonna be doing this.
Yeah, we're gonna
a little bit later.
So when we are looking at all these different kinds of self-care, I also believe that it can get confusing between self-care and self-indulgence.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How do you kind of identify when you're kind of self-indulgent or when you are taking care of yourself?
I would need a concealer, let's say. I'd walk in Sephora. All I want is a concealer. It's fixed to my budget for the month. That's self-care. I need a concealer. I'm going to get it. It's self-care. But self-indulgence is going in, burning a hole in my wallet, buying everything in Sephora, the mask, this. That's self-indulgence. And it creates a cost. When the cost is outweighing the positives of the self-care, that's when it becomes self-indulgence. Does that make sense? The long-term cost is going to be greater than the positives. That's why I say it's a fine line between self-care and self-indulgence.
Do you believe that you can also indulge in an emotion?
Like, emotional indulgence for me is sometimes when I'm sad, I really want to hear a sadder song, and just so I can cry. And maybe crying is good, you know what I mean? But then why am I making myself feel worse than what I'm feeling? I should find something that's making me feel better. So it depends. Emotional indulgence, you have to think about what is the long-term effect of it. Like self-care, there's only positives, right? But self-indulgence, is it gonna harm me 5 minutes from now? Like, am I gonna break down? Am I gonna be even worse? So emotional indulgence could be, I'm gonna text my ex just because he came to my mind. But is it gonna be positive in the future? It's impulsiveness, I believe, what self-indulgence is. It's being impulsive.
Right. So it's just quickly fixing up the need that you have at that point, and not really thinking in the long run, not really kind of sitting with the thought whether this is going to be good or not.
Yeah, and good for me. You know what I mean? Not good in the moment, but is it good for me? Like, so you really have to outweigh your decisions. It's so important because, especially big decisions, you have to put emotionally or physically or anything, your pros and cons. And there's some obvious answers. Like, you don't need to list things down. but do not make a decision based on how you're feeling now. You know, like do not do something impulsively or just because it feels good now. Like I love eating a whole cake, but I have to remember that, you know, I have a bigger goal, which is by the end of the month I want to lose 2 kgs. You know what I mean? So you have to think about your goal as well. It's self-discipline too, you know. But self-discipline and self-care is equal to that, because it's both loving yourself. You're being self-disciplined for yourself, and self-care is also for yourself. So
Right.
yeah.
I want to go back a little bit about the emotions example that you gave. When you're sad, you listen to a sad song and it makes you feel more sad than where you started. Now, I believe that it's okay to feel that emotion if it's needed. You know, if you need to let things out, then go ahead and do it. But how do you, like, for me, I think what's difficult is how much are you going to accept feeling a certain way, and when do you move on from there?
I love this example. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think I read it somewhere. It's like we all love Beyonce, right? So Beyonce says, I read this somewhere. Again, I don't know Beyonce. I don't know if it's true or not. But she gives herself a day to pity herself. Like if something goes wrong, she just gives herself a day, no matter how bad the situation is. Gives herself a whole entire day to cry, to weep, to whatever she needs to do. The next day, that's it. She needs to. So like, if you can control that and be able to say, I'm gonna give myself these 4 hours, and I know it doesn't really work that way because we're so emotional at times. But when you realize and you come to your rational side, please take a minute and just try your best to get yourself out of it as soon as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important that you give yourself timeline so you don't
Dwell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can sit on the couch for hours and I'm okay with that. I can Netflix, but I'm not being productive. In the long run, I'm not helping myself. I'm pitying myself. So, if anything, you just try to pick yourself up and keep going. Keep going.
Right. You're always doing something, right? Physically, emotionally, all that. And when you feel like you're not taking care of yourself, what happens to you?
You self-destruct. And that's why I can't emphasize enough that checking in every, even like in the small little details that you do, driving at work, pouring yourself that coffee, putting your food in the microwave, those little minutes, don't blur, don't go into a blur and you're just being mindless. Take a second and think, how am I feeling? What's going on? How do I fix this? Because again, you have to have the mindset that you are responsible for yourself. And self-care helps you realize when you're low on resources internally and to avoid self-destruction. Because the more you ignore and delay, as I mentioned, the more the sink gets full.
Yeah.
And then it's overflowing. So I was married before, as you know. I didn't realize what I wanted in a partner, and I didn't realize when there was bad treatment. I didn't realize how I felt. I put on that smiley face, and was told that things were gonna be okay, and that was it. Like I was okay with that. But then I came to a realization that the more I neglected, the more like myself and my thoughts and my gut, especially. Gut is really important, girl. Like it's really about the inside, you know, taking care of yourself inside, your mind, balancing out with your body, balancing out with your soul. If you're spiritual, be spiritual. I've done, you know, everything under the sun, from theta to therapy to coach lessons to I've done everything just so that I could find different ways to improve what makes me happy, and you know, and just stick to it as much as I can, because it is a practice. It is a conscious practice and action that you need to take to be able for you to sustain it. First off, turn off the TV. When you're alone, turn off the TV. Don't get distracted. Put your phone aside. and talk to yourself. It's really about talking to yourself, and it's so uncomfortable because so many thoughts come in. But when you journal or when you practice talking to yourself, things start clearing. Your thoughts starts clearing. The messages to yourself starts being clearer. In the beginning, it's like, I feel this, and I don't want to do this. This is so stupid. Like, so many thoughts just run through, but you gotta like close your eyes. Like, for me, it's really about closing my eyes and just understanding what I'm thinking. And because I talk so fast, as you guys can see, and because I'm a blabber, I have so many thoughts too. Like, they're just burning in. So for me, journaling what I was thinking, writing them all down, slowed it down for me. But yeah, getting there to start is the hardest part. And the first few times, they're like sessions with yourself. The first few times won't make sense, but journal. I feel like journal helps clear your thoughts. You can go back and see what you felt. And when you're going through a hard time, for example, when you journal it, and then you regret that decision if you don't take it, but then you go back and you see why you didn't take those decisions. Does that make sense?
It's like you going back to the memory of why you made that decision.
Yeah. And that will help reduce regret. That will help clear your decisions of why you did it. It's not just thoughts, it's written words. And oh my God, if I haven't done that, I think I'll be back with my ex-husband. And I'm happy. Okay. I'm a happy girl right now, but like, it took some time to put it all in paper and process it and digest it. And it did start by being uncomfortable with myself, because again, we are not taught to sit down and reflect. We are taught to do. So you just need a minute with yourself before bedtime. Journal how you're feeling. If you don't have the time, take a minute and just type it out. I always use my phone and I type things when I don't have my journal with me, and I have the weirdest notes. Like on my phone. Like, people are like, what is this? I'm like, I don't know. So I put dates sometimes. Like, I felt this on this date, and that's why it's a journal.
Yeah. So one thing that I love about you is you never give up. Like, you might take a break from doing something because you do a lot of stuff, and of course you run out of energy sometimes and you need a break.
Yeah.
But you continue to pursue everything that might give you some sort of value. So when you went through this whole process of doing uncomfortable things, doing new things, when did you start finding values, and how did you decide that this is something that I want to continue doing?
Obviously, when you see a difference, you keep going. Like, for me, my body takes time to burn fat, and I know that I have a slow metabolism, etc., etc. So what do? Do I do nothing, or do I keep trying? I try my ways. I give something a good 3 to 4 months. If it comes to vitamin pills, or if it comes to a type of workout, a type of diet, I like trying everything under the sun, just because craziness or complete insanity comes when you expect a different result by doing the same thing. If you expect to lose weight, but you're continuing a certain diet that's not really good for your body, how do you manage to see a difference? So that's why I love changing and doing different things. It's because maybe I haven't seen the best result in this. I want to try this, but do not give up on yourself. You know what I mean? You got to keep on pushing and knowing and increasing.
What I heard is that you would start seeing values in anything you do as long as you push yourself.
Yeah, 100%. And you got to keep going. Like, if you feel like you haven't seen the value in something, or if you feel like you haven't seen the result in something, don't keep on doing it. Change. Do something else. I'm a very spiritualist person. When it comes to, like, let's say, meditation or theta, which is like a type of healing. I've done a lot of different things just because this was great, but I want more. This is great. Oh, that's nice. So then I started taking everything that I've learned and customized it for me, and it works. Then that's when I saw the value by doing a lot of things. And I'm not saying that you guys should do so many different things, but whatever works for you. But if you see the same result and you're not happy with it, change. Do something else.
So shall we take out the stuff you got for us today?
Yes. Masks. It's physical care. Like they do whenever they come over. Last time you guys came over, all of you, like we had like maybe 6 people over, and we just put different types of masks on. It's self-care. It's
Yeah, including boys.
yeah, all the guys did too. Like, and they were happy with it. I didn't hear them complaining. They were like, "What is this? Oh wow, what Brandon? What does this do? Is it good for my pores?" I'm like, "Wow, they know what pores is." But yeah.
All right.
Okay. So this is a little bit of something. So we do believe in self-distancing. We both were tested. There we go. One. So this is really good for like it's like cucumber, and it has a bit of caffeine as well. So it will reduce any puffiness. You know, I know you stay up all night to edit stuff, so this will be good for you.
How do I look?
Beautiful. La 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 la.
So how often do you do this?
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday, and I have like the whole sheet. You know that mask sheet, like for the whole face, and that has like different vitamins for the face, and it's like a cooling factor. So like I feel super good like while I watch TV and have like a cup of tea or coffee.
Yeah.
It hydrates the face. And drink a lot of water. It's really good for you. Like one of the things that I've done with self-care is that I created a no list. An O list. And it was like the things that I used to get like really annoyed with, and my gut would tell me, "Why are you doing this?" You know what I mean? Like for example, don't take calls at night if it's for work. Do not answer your calls if you're having lunch or dinner. If there's a certain group that you don't want to hang out with, just say no. And don't make excuses. Like say no. I would rather sit in with Nada today. You know, that really does promote self-care. Because you're acknowledging that you're doing something for yourself. Listen to your body. Like when I work out almost every other day, if not every day, and sometimes my joints hurt. I'll take a day off. Like that one day is not gonna make me get abs like in a second. So I will listen to it. So listen to your body. And exercise for sure. Exercise, as I mentioned, creates those like happy hormones. I forgot what they're called. I wrote it here. Serotonin levels.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the happy hormones.
Yeah. So which is improves your mood and your energy. And if you're a drama queen like me, and if you don't exercise, for me, I'm just always moody. I don't want to go out. I'm tired. So if anything, I work out because I feel super good right after. Like I accomplished something. I'm productive, and it's helping my physical body. And I would like to say self-care also includes being responsible with yourself, which is like going to the doctor, making sure you're doing your checkups, understanding if you have any vitamins deficiency, take those vitamins every day. That's self-care. And use relaxation exercises, like practice meditation. I hate meditation and I hated yoga. But you love yoga. But once you do, I feel like you get more flexible, you get stronger, and you feel kind of good in the end. Like, you're stretched and you're ready for the day. And spend time with your loved ones. I feel like that's so important. And if your loved ones is negative, stay away from them. But I like surrounding myself with positive people. And alhamdulillah, I have really good friends. And they're very energetic. If I'm down, they bring me up. If they're down, I bring them up. And I feel like, your friends is the family that you choose. So choose them wisely. And do at least one relaxing activity a day, which is like cooking. And not like, dead TV, because we do that anyway, brain dead TV, but like get up, go for a little walk, walk your dog or play with your cat, read a little book, read a few pages, cook, those little things that you can, add to your day. And then look for opportunities to laugh. Go on YouTube, put on like comedy stuff. Or for me, I watch New Girl, and there's always like giggles here and there, and I feel like that brightens up my little day.
Right. So, to those people that is listening to this and are thinking, "Oh gosh, but like I'm so busy. I have kids. I have a whole family to take care of. My work is super busy." What would be your kind of, advice to them?
I've seen, if let's say moms or dads that have kids. I'm not a parent, so maybe my advice, what did she know? But I'm the type that when I see an experience, I take it to myself. I know different types of parents. I know a mom of 2, and she looks so hot. Like, she goes to the gym every single day. She works from 9 to 6, and she goes to the gym for 2 hours. And her daughter asked her mom, "I don't like the gym. It takes you away from us." You know, and she does feel a little bit guilty. However, she knows, and she would always tell me, if I do not give myself that 1 hour at the gym, I would be a monster at home. So I'd rather come in, I feel good, I've done something for me, and my kids have the best of me. It's like pouring a glass. If you have this little left, how much can you give?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but when you pour your glass and you're making sure that you're feeling good, and you're pouring yourself with love, you have a lot of love to give. And everyone wants to be around you. Everyone wants your aura. You know, you don't want to be with your kids just for the sake of being with your kids and not spending that quality time or dreading it, or you're being there because you feel like, okay, this is the quality time, 1. And 2, I already did something for me, so I'm fulfilled. I'm fulfilled with my kids. I'm fulfilled with me time. So find your little time. It could be even once a week, twice a week. You know, ladies, keep your man at home. Let them take care of the kids. Vice versa. Let the guys go out and play. Have a guy night and play PlayStation mindlessly. That's so important. Or I feel like your relationship will not survive. 1, like it gets harder and harder to be in it. And 2, you'll be more happier and more giving, and you want to give. I've seen the difference. I'm not saying it's bad to be so selfless and give everything to your kids. I'm sure it's a decision, but don't forget that you live once and you're having a life. And at the end of the day, I'm sure you're going to be raising your kids in a great way if you're giving yourself a little bit, or you give them all that you have, you know?
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining today,
Thank you
Nada.
for having me. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much.
No, it's good. And thank you for the eye masks. How long are we supposed to keep this?
Just like an extra 10 minutes.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, we can have some tea and talk.
Awesome.
Off camera.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. What are your thoughts on self-care? And until next time, bye-bye.